And welcome back to another Act 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview and I'm here with Anthony Phythian. How are we, lad?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Great, okay, well thank you very much for doing this interview, mate.
No problem, no problem.
And so am I right in saying you're a 39-year-old light heavyweight who's 3-1?
That's right, I am, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, starting off with the question I always like to start off with, why did you start boxing?
I've always been a fan. I was always a fan of boxing. It didn't really work out for me when I was younger. So obviously, sort of like I went off the rails a little bit, I suppose. And I just give it a go again as I got a bit older, sort of like in the sort of late 20s, early 30s. Just basically started off, you know, keeping fit. Started doing white collars, unlicensed boxing. And when I got to a certain level, I just thought, you know, I'm good enough to have a proper go here, even though the age was against me. Yeah, and then managed to have a couple of amateur fights in my sort of like mid to late 30s, and then turned over at 37.
Great. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, I lost my first amateur fight. Referee stopped it in the second round.
And I'm sure it was a big learning fight for you.
Yeah, it's just obviously, you know, everyone, as you know, the amateur game, it's different. It's a lot faster, and you know, we come out 100 mile an hour. You know what I mean? So, probably with my age and what have you, I probably won't suit it to the amateur game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And so you spoke about when you turned over, but why did you turn over when you did?
I believed I was good enough to sort of have a go in the pro ranks. You know, and there was like a burning desire inside me to sort of like really push on and have a go. I got knocked back when I was, I think I was 35. Got knocked back when I was 35 by the board. Went again at 37 after a handful of amateur fights, and then got my licence. And yeah, just a burning desire to sort of like fulfil my dream, really.
Definitely, great. And so, unfortunately, you did suffer a defeat on your debut. But what lessons did that defeat take, especially as it being your debut? Yeah,
it was hard, sort of. Definitely, sort of, you know, to stay switched on, especially, you know what I mean, in the opening round, sort of thing. You know, not trying to crowd please, just sort of like, you know, you've just got to stay focused, 100% focused, right, you know, from the first bell to the last bell.
Definitely. Okay, and so since then you've gotten the 3 wins, and so out of them 3 fights, which one would you say you've performed your best in?
I'd probably say my last fight I performed against Ben Thomas. I thought I boxed well on that show, yeah.
And would you say you're constantly improving?
Yeah, definitely always improving. I think you know, since I've been back up at Kieran Farrell's, I've improved there. You know, just a desire to learn. You know what I mean? And I'm just being around other you know, upcoming fighters. You know, watching. Being there, watching, being around them, just learning. You know, if you can just learn, you know, one thing a week, it's something to take on board. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Okay, and so you've got a fight. Am I right for saying November 11th?
November 11th, yeah.
And so, how's preparation been going for that?
Yeah, it's been going well. Feeling good, feeling sharp. You know, everything's on point. Everything's you know, my weight's on point. Been training down at Echo's boxing school there with Brian Gardner. So yeah, it's been going well. Looking forward to it. Still got you know, just under 3 weeks to go.
Definitely. And so, do you know who your opponent will be yet?
I know, not heard who the opponent is yet. No, but you know, it's like at this level, you know, could change anyway up until last minute.
Definitely. And so you're just at the start of your career at the moment, and so I'm sure, like, especially with the pro game right at the start, selling tickets is a very important thing. So to anybody new who might be watching this and hadn't seen you fight before, what kind of makes you interesting as a fighter?
Probably, you know, I'm probably quite raw, really. As far as professionals will go, you know, could probably sort of easily get caught up in you know, in a real scrap. And I suppose that's just the fighting instinct in me. You know what I mean? With not having a great sort of boxing ability, really, in terms of, you know, what other fighters at this level have probably got. But yeah, and like I say, I'm always learning. You know, I'm always learning, and it's probably still really finding my style. Even though, you know, my age and what have you, and you know, coming up to my 5th pro fight, you know, my style has probably changed from the first fight up until now. It's changing all the time. Yeah.
Great. And so you have said that you are obviously on the older side with starting on your career, but how far do you believe you can go in the sport?
It's hard to say, you know. I mean, I feel like I'm fit. You know, I'm fit. As far as that, you know, as far as that's concerned, fitness is fine. But like I say, you know, it's got. You know, I've got to think about my age. You know, it is a young man's sport. You know, and I've started late. So who knows, really? You know, I did have a goal to sort of fight for the area title. If I can get that far. But at the minute, I'm just really taking it fight by fight.
Definitely. Okay. And so, you spoke about how your age is a little bit on a factor of it, but what kind of keeps you motivated for like going to the gym every day and all that kind of thing? What keeps you motivated?
Just basically, like I say, you know, my story's been no secret. You know, I've come from sort of like I've had a bit of a dark past, you know, a bit of a downward spiral, and I left myself in a bit of a dark place. Not so long ago, you know, 5-6 years ago. So I suppose looking back on that sort of spurs me on to keep me going. You know, my 3 kids, you know, my son now is old enough to come and watch me box, so I know that, you know, my son's going to be there ringside watching me on my fights. So that spurs me on as well, you know what I mean? And just the following I've had as well, you know, the fan base that I've had, it's been good, you know, they come and supported me even when I was, you know, amateur and unlicensed. So yeah, just you know, just to make sure that I'm fit and I'm ready, you know, and I'm giving the fans a money's worth.
Great. Okay. And so, am I right in saying, moving away from the boxing to another sport? We do like to talk about sports in this channel. Am I right in saying you're a Man City fan?
That's right. I am. Yeah.
What's your thoughts on them so far this season?
Yeah, been brilliant this season. Obviously, you know, we've got that missing link now in Erling Haaland. You know, I mean, we scored a big amount of goals last season, and they come from all over the field. But obviously now we've got him up front, that machine. We just look unstoppable when we're on form at the minute.
Definitely. Okay. And so I'll leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Yeah, just big shout out to all my fans, really. Everyone that keeps, you know, coming to support me. Obviously, you know, at this level, the ticket sales are massive. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what's needed at this end of the sport. So yeah, if anybody, you know, wants to get out and support me, you know, please get in touch for the ticket. Also, a massive thank you to me sponsors as well. They make it all possible. Terry's Cult, Watkins Signs, Adept Cleaning Services, Brampton Kitchens, and Penguin Refrigeration.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for doing this, mate.
No problem. My pleasure.
And maybe a few more fights down the line, we can come back and do a return interview.
Yeah, hopefully get a few more wins under the belt. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you're doing like the video, and thanks for watching.